Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live stream, where we will be covering today a major topic within connectivity. This is called the Live Stream Summit for a reason, because as you've heard with our business climate right now, we're kind of hovering at base camp after last year, and this is a potential that we can really reach the top of our potential and have some great numbers to capitalize in the next 10 weeks. There's a lot of potential out there, so I hope that regardless of your role in the company, you're ready to find out how you can get involved. Over the next hour, we'll walk through a pretty simple agenda. It's more complicated when we get into slides than this, but at the wrap-up, there's some Turck issues out there. Hopefully you've heard about it, because we're living it every day. Tech Service currently has over 50 crosses for Turck Business, and I'll explain the reason why, but we'll unpack some of the issues that are going on there. Also, I want to make sure that we know and have our marching orders for how to win the battle on the short-term business, how to take advantage in this season to capitalize and get immediate sales in your region and in your territory. Also, we want to talk about how do we keep this business, win the war long-term, that is not just a quick blip in our radar, but these are accounts that we secure for the long run. The last thing I want to mention is that we have a Q&A that is open on the live stream, so feel free to type into that chat at some point throughout the day if you have a question, and at the end, if we have time, we'll be able to look and see if there's any questions that we need to address as an organization. So, what is up with that Turck issue? The answer is SAP. During my MBA days, read a lot of case studies. Hershey Foods had a big debacle right around the season of Halloween candy. With Turck, they decided to wait until I went on paternity leave to run this issue to the top. So you may have seen an announcement right at the end of May, beginning of June, from Jeremy Andrews in a marketing news format, just indicating, hey, we're starting to hear rumblings from our channel that there is a migration issue of Turck's ERP system over to SAP, and they currently can't ship any product. We had no idea how long this issue would last, but we made sure that you were aware to go and see if there is opportunity at your customers and at your channel. Also at this time, I let our German colleagues know of the potential situation, knowing that we were coming to our C2C meeting, having a nice time to talk to you about the potential opportunity, some of the new demos and promotional kits that we had for this year, that it was perfect timing to take advantage of a potentially rocky climate for Turck. Then we got into July, and there was a lot of, I would say, uncertainty about how long this would go on. So customers were unhappy, but they were more or less holding on to their orders as lead times got pushed out. And I also was out of the office, so I was excited when I got back in after 3 weeks of paternity leave, really ready, lots of rest and sleep during that vacation, that we found out that the issue was not resolved. But again, we weren't sure if it was about to be fixed or going to continue for weeks to come. And that became very clear during some travel that our upper management had with distributors over the last 2 weeks or so, shared distributors that have both Turck and Phoenix on the line card, as well as learning that there was a letter that went out that it is 90 to 105 days at that point, so now we'll say 100 days until Turck has a workable solution to reliably take orders, build product, and ship against those orders. They've also communicated to those that are carrying Turck, go ahead and fill orders in the short term with competition if you need to save the relationship with the end customer so that they're not lying down. What did this look like on the inside? Well, we like to see a pyramid hierarchy where right at the beginning in June, we saw the tough stuff. Customers that couldn't get their fully customized product from Turck because it's made to order for one customer and very special. That was what we were getting with, and our engineering team that's present today will say that we saw a lot of wacky things and a big uptick in Solution Center requests right starting in June. In July, that started to shift a little bit to more of the standard articles and less customization, but maybe still what we would call value add. And then this month, The wheels have fallen off their cart. They're running out of stock in the channel from their warehouse to be able to get into large customer, medium-sized customers, and small customers' hands. And therefore, we are seeing, like I said, 50 crosses just this week to tech service asking about, can you help us with this situation? And guess what? If we're not able to help them immediately, they're calling the next person that makes CORDSETS. So the other thing I did mention is that we let Germany know about this in June, and they are excited about the potential here in the US for us to show a positive result in this business unit. So far, the bookings have not seen the sharp uptick that we need them to see within the next week or two in the current climate to be able to not start taking cost-cutting measures within this area of opportunity. So the time absolutely is now. It is what Jack would call an NYN, need you now moment. How big is the potential? What is really out there? Turck is a $300 million company in the US. And you can see the breakdown there that about half of that is within what they call connectivity. They do have a large line of sensors. That's where they started their business. So 35% of their sales volume is in sensors, maybe 30, 35. And then the network automation type products is 15 to 20%. And you'll notice that this was an SAP issue. It was not just a cable manufacturing issue or that their plant in Mexico burned down. It was a business system. So it does not matter what product series it is. If it's on Turck's line card, they're having the same issue. So those in attendance, know that this is being presented from IFC. We're going to really focus, unlike we normally do, on one specific manufacturer and the tools to win in this current climate for the next 50 or so minutes, but that it absolutely goes to the FDC product, which is panel feed-throughs, RJ45 adapters, RJ45 cables, all the larger circulars, M17 through M58. It covers IMA products, whether it's inside the cabinet, IP20IO, IP67IO, HMIs, PLCs. They have IP20 power supplies that are up for grabs. We have relay opportunities, signal conditioner opportunities. Turck does monitoring. They have a whole line of safety, sensors, and connectivity. And they have an enclosure business that is much like our value-add box build that covers enclosures and full build-outs of solutions. And they focus on a lot of the same industries where you already are as a sales team. So automotive, food and packaging, mobile equipment, factory automation, and process. Process being oil and gas, pharmaceutical, chem, and petrochem. And these we know are their identified growth markets. Industrial Ethernet. That's an area that we obviously have a very strong portfolio to attack as well. They do a lot within power distribution. They're looking into mobile equipment, as well as being strong in both process and tying their business model around the custom solution side. So we know that Turck has a fair amount of sales, pretty large presence for connectivity on machine within the USA. How do we stack up? Well, it's good to know that we sell over 10 million CORDSETS a year. This isn't a small offering that we have in the fringes. This is a core product line from Phoenix Contact that last year delivered the same amount of growth dollars as terminal blocks globally. We have over 55 million meters of cable sold last year. That's enough to wrap around the world more than once, 1.4 times, of cable produced through our manufacturing. And just here in the US, through our local production team, year to date, we're about to cross the 300,000 piece mark of cables built. Within that number, the North American cable product portfolio is up. The Solution Center kind of project business is down, and it nets mostly flat, if not a little negative, which is not representative of the market conditions that are at hand. So, who's on the live stream today or in the audience? I want to make sure that you know, regardless of your position within the company, you can play a part. If you're an industrial sales engineer, machine builders are hurting the most. Go see your OEMs, find out what products they can't ship, what machines they can't ship, because they're not able to get the connectivity portion on the machine. If you're an ESE, same thing. You can't get the device connectors, the field device connectors for those manufacturers, so both FTC and IFC business is impacted. If you're an ASE, go win the network. There's a lot of field network and IP20 that Turck sells. This is your chance to lead with Axial Line E, etc., and pull through the cable business. If you're a BDAE or a BDM, you have detailed conversations with a set, smaller list of customers, or you're specialized in one area. So if you're a power reliability BDAE, Turck focuses on power solutions, as well as then you can be a lead generator for connectivity to pass off to an ISE or ESE. If you are a VMM or a PSE, go back and see what specs were recently specified as Turck. Likely, if it's being built out right now, they're not able to ship, so that would be an opportunity if there is an or equivalent to get a quick sale as well through Phoenix Equivalents. If your key accounts, remind those key accounts that we are a connectivity company, and if key accounts have sourced from Turck, then likely we have an opportunity there as well. And for channel sales, whether it's the electronic, industrial, or automation, there is a role where our channel really knows a lot of where the bones are buried when it comes to connectivity and Turck accounts. So we'll be really launching an effort next week to our channel to let them know here's some copy, some emailers that they can do to generate leads for our team to go in and close quickly. So, sales graph. That's our impressive growth 2016, 17, 18 for just the cabling portion of IFC. So cables, connectors, and boxes. So we did about $15.5 million in what we would call equivalent machine connectivity to Turck. This does not include the receptacle side of the business that is in Turck's number. But you can see that we're trending right now to be completely flat in this area. And that's not necessarily a great result given the opportunity at hand. So what if we took the same 10% CAGR that this business has been used to over its last 10 years and looked at where we would be 10 years from now? We'd come in somewhere $44, $45 million 10 years from now if we just take that 10% CAGR out a decade. But what if? What if we take advantage right now of the opportunity? We just said that the portion is 50% of Turck's number, so that's 150 million they do within connectivity each year. Weekly, that's 2.88, roughly $3 million nationally in connectivity. Which means in 10 weeks, which is the amount of time until likely they have a workable fix in their SAP structure, there's 28, nearly $30 million of product that customers are unhappy that they can't get, they can't ship equipment. They're either going to wait or they're going to change. And I want to make sure that we're part of the equation where they change to Phoenix. So, number of ISEs and ESEs, specifically calling on these two teams because they have a demo case, they have the knowledge and the account base to really be the leaders within IFC to take advantage of this. So if we have 85 reps out there, and we divide it across the available amount, that's $339,000 of opportunity by sales rep. If it was split evenly across every sales rep, we know that may not be the case in every market, but let's say that you just pick up roughly a third of that. It's your $100,000 opportunity, which would definitely benefit, I would say, everyone's number and goals and incentive plans for this year. It's a real number, and we'll get into that as well. So the 10-week potential increase for the company would be $8.5 million. Need you now changes the curve. So what does that look like then? If we retain half of that business that we would win, we would have a net impact of about $13 million more per year 10 years from now. But what if we take advantage of this opportunity and retain the business? we're talking a difference of $25 million a year a decade from now, just over the next 10 weeks. This has to be the opportunity that all of us are focusing on in the next quarter. The next 10 weeks could be an exponential impact for the next 10 years. So step one, how do we win this battle in the next 10 weeks? First is we need to be experts within this product set to know the application. We need to know how our product fits within a flexing application, the types of shielding, and how we do specials, and what is special for our product portfolio. So, knowing the flex, static installation, non-flexing. Been preaching it since the yellow fellow was created, that we needed an equivalent for just low cost, install it in a cable tray, and it's there. So Jeremy helped me describe the best way that we could think of, well, what's a non-flexing cable installation? That's it. We're planking. Remember that internet craze from about a decade ago? So if you see a cable that's just laying out in a tray and he's planking, PVC is your best option for both cost and performance. What about if it's a lateral flex application or C-track? Well, Jeremy was still in the gym, working hard, doing some sit-ups, some crunches. That is a lateral flex, one direction. Sit-ups is PUR, polyurethane cable type. And then what if you just get crazy in the gym, start working on those obliques? You're doing torsional flex or robotics. Not only do you do a sit-up, but you throw in a nice twist at the end. So that's lateral and torsional rated, which is our TPE or TPU product set. We hope that that infographic of what just one of many workouts that Jeremy does in our Phoenix gym helps you remember what cable type should go in what recommended application. The reason I bring this up is it's really important when we get cross-reference requests, that if a customer has selected TPE or PUR, that you ask the question, are you really using this in a flex application? Where is this going? Because we could have a more readily available item, perhaps, if a substitute or a lesser performance cable is used. It's also important that we know the shielded options within our product portfolio. So the first is, it's not shielded. And what is shielding doing? Simply protecting the cable from interference. If a motor turns on and off, as that signal runs by, there's a shield that wraps around the individual wires that carry the signal back to the controller, and it protects those, maintains the integrity, and you simply take that shield to ground somewhere else. So if there's low RFI or EMI, unshielded is the way to go. It is obviously the lowest cost option. Also in our existing portfolio, we've had braided shield. It's how Germany decided was the best way to provide a shield connection technology. So there is a overall braid that protects the wires that comes up into the overmold where a shielding collar is applied that carries that shield up to the coupling nut, and therefore when you mate that cable to a receptacle, any noise created from that cable flows right metal to metal all the way to the enclosure ground. These are the two ways that we've gone to market for the last decade plus, with an unshielded and a braided shield tied to coupling nut. Unfortunately, if you're in tech service, you know that there is a large portion of crosses that come for a shield technology that we previously did not support, which is foil and drain. So rather than a shield coming up to the coupling nut, there is a foil shield, literally like aluminum foil that you would put on a casserole, that wraps around the wires, and then there is an uninsulated wire that lays right on top of that so that any noise that's picked up has the same potential, and you can easily tie that to a terminal. Why is this important? Because of processing time. Anyone in our manufacturing team that has to comb a braid for a value-add cable and twist it off knows the labor that it takes and the time it takes to perform that task. With a foil and drain, you're ready to just plug it right into a terminal without any extra labor or prep. So if it's connected to a pin, you're able to connect on the receptacle side to ground. Within the foil and drain not connected, this is a free end cable, you would have an easily prepared wire here to land to a terminal. I'm bringing up these differences not so that you can say, well, Turck has those, but we don't, but to let you know that we do. If you were paying attention at C2C, you know that this is a shielding option that we are releasing a broad portfolio against just for this reason of Turck, it being a primary shielding technology. Little did we know when we started the project about 9 months ago that Turck would be in this issue right now. So rather than a forecast of starting at low volume where we find over the years where all the opportunities are and compete primarily on price, we're now in a situation where people are coming to us saying, we're buying cables and we're finding a lot that are like this and immediately running volume against it to the tune of, we've already done $50,000 plus and are only flashing it next week. So there's a ton of potential for this new product series. And great job to the engineering team getting that ready in time. So the third part of the conversion plan is specials. Turck has built its whole empire on the ability to customize and have variations beyond what you really need, and that's how they lock in their business. So the question that you have as we are in this climate is, what does the customer really need on their machine in the next 10 weeks to be able to ship it? Is it all the custom things that you may see on a Turck custom, such as stainless steel coupling nuts, custom overmold colors, non-standard wire colors? If you have non-standard lengths, we'll get to that. What is a standard length? Custom cable, like completely customer-specific cable for no real good reason. Or wire prep, such as the only thing that makes this cable special is that they stripped it back 40 centimeters instead of the typical 50 millimeters. Do they need that prep done, or do they want a cable that's off the shelf? The note is that every Turck number that is a value-add customer special will have /CS at the end. If so, obtain the drawing up front because we can't get them off their website, same way that our Solution Center products for one specific customer are not available to the general public. So if they are looking for an alternate, we need to know what's special about it in order to see if we have a solution. But I talked about standard cable lengths. In our North American portfolio and our global portfolio, we try to pick what the most standard lengths are that can be used on an industrial machine and put those with fixed numbers in stock or ready to build. So our standard lengths, for example, in North American, 2, 5, 10 meter is very common. So if you get a cross that has 4, 6, 8, 10, the challenge is, do we cross to the next portfolio, which is CMAT, on the 4, 6, and 8? Because we have 2, 5, 10. We can do that, give them the exact length cross, but we also want to tell them we have a 5 and a 10 meter that are ready to go from stock if you can make that work, because most times it's single-ended anyway and they can just cut it to the same length as before. The other product that we have is the Sweet Spot and the Solution Center, which is, again, increasing the level of complexity, and Jeremy will talk about those in a little bit. The long-awaited slide. Been working on this project for longer than I'd like to think. Thank you, Sam, for all the table work to create really succinct, what we call the BROtalog. It's too informative and too much information for a normal brochure, but still smaller in page count than a catalog. So at 84 pages, it has our entire product series, both locally made and the high runners that you would need to connect on a machine. Where can you get it and share it with customers? Let's go check out the updated landing page /CORDSETS. Here at the updated landing page, no surprise at the very top, main stage, you will see request catalog, and it will not currently work because of the training laptop, but that will open up a anonymity breaker. They can put in their information and immediately download the digital copy. The digital copy is PDF linked back to our website for every part number, so you can easily hyperlink back to technical data sheets. And the landing page also covers all the main product series by grouping. So if you know that you have a customer that's interested just in hazardous location, for example, you can immediately from this landing page get into that product set and ignore the other 2,000 cables that we have within the series. All right, so we'll go through the BROtalog in a moment, but first, how do you, instead of just winning new business with this catalog or having conversation, really start in this climate from a Turck number and get them to an equivalent Phoenix Contact cord set? So we're talking they're in a line down situation, they have high runners, and this should be less than 10 part numbers. So it's not, hey, give me a list of every product you ever bought from this manufacturer. It's where are you having the most pain? And let me see if before I leave today, I can have equivalent 3 part numbers from Phoenix Contact that you've said, yep, that's the right spec. Please give me a price, and we'll go ahead, and if you have stock, start ordering. So the tool for that is what we've created in the last week, which is the specific Turck cross-reference guides. This shows common nomenclature from Turck on M8, M12, and Mini 7H cord sets. The first step is to look at the Turck design of their nomenclature and their description. You're not trying to use this to create the Phoenix Contact description. You simply want to see with that nomenclature from Turck what type of head it has, how long the cable is, and what type of cable is in that assembly. This reference guide should be able to get you with those informations into the right section of the BROtalog to then make an equivalent cross. So again, you would start with the hot item from Turck that they can't get. We'll look it up on the XREF guide, figure out where it is. Step 2, find that equivalent series in BROtalog, slide it across the table, pull it up on your tablet, and say, here's our standard lengths. Which one will meet your needs? And then we just short-circuited 4 or 5 days of sending in a spreadsheet to tech service, getting it back, sending it to engineering or purchasing. While you're still there having the call, you can address whatever their main pain point is. And then obviously you want to confirm the cross, either with their engineering or maybe with tech service or the marketing group before you send in a few thousand cables that, oops, it was your first time trying it with this new tool, and therefore we got them the wrong product. So, what does the Turck XREF guide look like? Here you are. You'll see some examples of Turck nomenclature at the top for finished assembly part numbers, and then the breakdown by connector, number of pins, cable length, and cable types. So we're going to walk through an example real briefly of a 4-pin cable. And if you had an RK 4.4T-5, you would be able to see in this guide that the connector information, RK means it is an M12 female straight. They call it a Eurofast. Their whole brand of M12 is Eurofast. So we know that we would be within our M12 series looking for female straight connectors. If we find how many pins, a 4.4, T is a 4-position A code for us. And then what's this -5? Well, it's just the length, so it's in meters. We want to find a 5-meter cable. So in this case, it would be a 4-pin, female straight, free end, PVC, 5-meter, which nets this description, but really you would be in the BROtalog and find the part number list, and you would quickly find 1406245, one of our highest running sale parts in our portfolio. So this guide should help you get right in the ballpark on any cross in front of the customer. All right. So the other thing that's really good to know, this is primarily for tech service, it is kind of for field sales. If you need to confirm a cross, looking at the Turck drawing is the best way to make sure that you find the equivalent. And there is a website. It was oldturck.us. With its SAP conversion, it just changed to connect.turck.us. Within the last 2 days, we found that if you go directly there, it asks for a login, but if you still use Old Turck, which is the big link there, then it redirects you without login, and you can easily find all their data sheets. As soon as you put the part number in, you get a search result. So Click on drawings on the left-hand side, put in the part number you're trying to cross. It'll show you a result list, and immediately you can see a data sheet for that item. So if I wanted to find the male equivalent in RS, I simply go to that site, put in RS 4.4T-5, hit enter. The top result is that exact part number, and I can click on the data sheet and review the technical specification. So what is important when you look at a Turck drawing to make sure that you have the equivalent cross? Well, the way that I look at it and digest it in about 15 seconds is first, confirm the thread size that you got in to the right series. It'll have the trade name, in this case Eurofast, again, which is M12, PicoFast is M8, MiniFast is Mini 7/8 inch, as well as the thread size will be called out in the 2D schematic. Next, cable type. That's really important to make sure that you have an equivalent, or you're talking about the application. Hey, I see that you're using PUR. Is that what you need because of sit-ups, lateral flex? Or is it just sitting there in static and you picked a PUR and you're not sure why? Wire gauge size. While within M12 it doesn't really change the current rating to go from 22 to 18 gauge. Those are two common wire gauges that we see requested, as well as the coupling nut material. Nickel plated die cast is our standard, same for Turck. If there's any special notes or slashes at the end of a part number, it'll be in the bottom left-hand side of the drawing. You can see the wire prep, which is standard on the right. The only place that a Turck drawing calls out the gender is in the top left, where it shows the schematic view. So it does confirm there that you're looking at a male connector. It shows the coding, which you can't see just with the 2D side view, obviously. So it shows the mating face of a 4-position A code, and also calls out the wire color, which is standard wire coloring for us. The one other point, doesn't matter on really any length unless it's super short and they're saying, no, it has to be exactly 11 inches for this cable assembly, that we need the exact length. But Turck measures their length from the front of the connector head to the back of the prepped cable. Our cable length is measured from the back of the overmold to the strip. So we measure the usable cable jacket as our length, and Turck includes the connector and the prep. So before we go much further, I want to take a quick commercial to say it is possible. If you were at C2C meeting, you know that I talked about a potential that came in during that week, worked with production to see if we'd be able to facilitate some really fast turnaround, like 3 days kind of thing. And with their commitment and diligence, we were able to get business off the street before a lead customer kept looking around for a Turck alternate. And in this case, Phoenix got the business. So Peter Strandy, great job winning one account, one sales rep, one account. You can see the 4-year sales history number. Now these are 15-meter cables. We just added additional lengths for convenience starting a few years ago. Instead of only having CMAT for lengths longer than 10 meter. 15 was exactly what they were buying. The customer builds industrial door systems, so you can think the rapid roll doors here in our facility, or maybe a dock door over in logistics. But over these two parts, you can see that we sold a couple starting last year, and everybody can see that need you now moment change of the curve as soon as one Turck account at volume switched to Phoenix Contact. So what was the impact? So far, we've billed almost 6,000 cables from this one customer. We have another, we'll say 4,500 on the books right now, waiting to be built and billed. So a total quantity of 10,500 cables from one account, using up over 150,000 meters of cable. These accounts are everywhere in every one of your regions. We simply need to go in there and make sure that we cross them. That it's the Phoenix Contact portfolio that is taking advantage of the situation, not one of our competitors. So the other thing I wanted to do is quick pull up an example of how does this work in real life? So if you have a cross that you get in, the first thing I typically do is sort on quantity. It may be sorted by customer part number, Z to A, but I'm going to instead select the right area of Excel. If it comes in like this, you could be doing the same type of crosses all over the place. We're spending time with you don't even know EAU volume before you get going. So I always take the quantity. Let's start where it matters with the business. So I really want to cross these two items, an RK 4.4T-15 and an RKC 8T15-S618. I bring those guys over to my handy dandy cross-reference list. I see really quickly that WK is an M12 female 90. I know that 4.4T is a 4-position A code. And then -15, 15 meters. All right, I'm good on that one. I know basically where to turn in the catalog. The next one was an RK, female straight. Got it. What is this C? Medium plug body. So Turck offers a couple different plug bodies that you can pick. We just sized the plug body based off of the cable that's being connected to it. So there's really no need for it. And therefore, our standard 4P is suitable. 8T is an 8-position A code, 15-meter length. What is that? /S618. Oh man, it's that foil and drain shielded thing that we didn't have that we now do. That's cool. So which one do I need? With it connected to a pin or not connected? Oh, when it's 618, it's not connected. If it's 653, then it is connected to a pin. So I know I'm going straight to our M12 foil and drain portfolio and going to the FDN, the foil drain not connected series. And just like that, we went ahead and put in the cross for the first two part numbers, the ones with the big quantity. The thing you can do from there then, which we typically do, is resort your list by part description, because many times people buy the same configuration that you just crossed in different lengths. So therefore, I have another foil and drain cable of the exact same configuration that just needs to be 50 meters, which is longer than the standard length that we do. So we'll contact the Solution Center, do a sweet spot setup, as well as 3 lengths of that same configuration, 2 with much lower quantity, but we did 1 cross, and then we simply go find the part number for the 20 meter and the part number for the CMAT, and we're done with those. So this is how we work through the crosses very quickly and efficiently, sorting first by what's the biggest potential, and then sorting by the Turck description, where the only thing that's different than length, instead of seeing the same drawing 6-8 times throughout a cross list. All right. I have a few other commercials when doing crosses. 3 cautionary tales. 1, snap-in on M8 is something that Turck offers because of their sensor business, that they create a sensor that instead of a threaded coupling nut many, many years ago, you simply plug on and there is a mechanical feature that it must overcome, and it retains the cable without turning any nut. Our M8 product actually covers both the snap-in feature and the threaded installation on the male side. So if you ever wondered why the coupling nut on an M8 doesn't come all the way to the front of the contact carrier, it's because you can plug our male side into a snap-in sensor, or you can use the threaded portion to mate to a standard M8 receptacle. On the female side, there is a specific product line where you have a different mold and there is no coupling nut. This is supported only out of Germany, but it is available in Catalog 2 if you run across it. So that covers the M8 snap-in topic. The next is the Ethernet ratings. So we have our PUR global product line, which is the same cable material that we build in the US. There is not a PVC equivalent to the Ethernet portfolio. It is a 300 volt rated jacket. So the wires themselves, the transmission for Ethernet is not 300 volt, just a jacket rating when it's laying in a tray. Thank you, Jeremy, for laying in a tray, static. That if there's a power cable next to it running 480 or 600 volt, that there's insulation to protect that even without a wire barrier. Turck upgraded their cable about 2 years ago across the portfolio to be a 600 volt rated jacket. So again, the Ethernet performance is the same, just the jacket is thicker for that voltage insulation. And they also, instead of PUR, went to a TPE for flex, so that every Ethernet cable they have is 600 volt and flex. So when crossing Ethernet, the main takeaway is ask, are you installing this next to power lines? Then you're taking advantage of a 600 volt rating. If they don't know what you're talking about, it's a direct cross. Flex rating, same thing. You ask, is this going into a flex tray? If they say no, you don't even need to bring up the details of Turck upgrading to a TPE and us being a PUR. The other question we get is, what is the flex rating of our cable types? Under the cable section of any product, you will see data on the cable. It's called cable details. And right after the cable diameter, it'll talk about minimum bending radius, and it'll give some diameters, so X times the diameter for a fixed or flexible. Now, flexible installation does not mean continuous for the life of that cable. It will be flexing. So if you don't see a defined flex rating, it is not a cable that's defined for a continuous life in a C-track doing sit-ups over and over again. It will burn out. I'm like 3. And then you won't be able to obviously maintain the integrity of that cable for the life of the machine. Example, our robotics cable is meant for continuous flex, so there's the same thing, cable diameter. What happens if it's fixed? You can bend that cable 4 times the diameter, real tight, and it's fine. If you go 7.5 times the diameter, you get 10 million bend cycles. And roughly, here's the conditions that it was tested to for how fast that was going back and forth. And then also, if you want to get up to 15 million bend cycles, just make sure that that cable loop is 50 millimeters, and then you get an additional 5 million bend cycles. It also will call out then torsion force, which again is a sit-up with a twist, so it covers lateral flex up to 1 million cycles. Other brief commercial on crosses. Within the last week or two, we've seen on Turck's YouTube channel that they have time, since they're not shipping products, to make videos. So they are starting to promote what they call clamp and push-in termination. We talked about this when Sam was screwing around. You can go ahead, stand up, and hopefully they can remember who you are. Yep, this is the guy that covers all field wire connectors and network cabling, Sam Hartman. And he wants to remind you, and I want to remind you, that if you see in this whole cross can't ship situation a Turck screw, yes, we can offer a Phoenix screw equivalent. But everybody brand labels every screw connector from the same supplier in Germany. So the message from our meeting was to stop screwing around and move to Phoenix push-in products. So the issue here is that now Turck is actively promoting our own product line from their channel. And they're so bold as to even use the exact sample pack that we send out, the same prepped wire that you have to do sales in their video. Blatantly, it's our product. So we should never lose a sale on this, and it's our time to make sure that we're crossing to the correct product line, because once they can ship again, I'm sure they're going to start moving their screw customers over to push-in as well. And by the way, in its first year, partial year, because we didn't get UL till a few months in, we've already done nearly $500,000 in this product set alone. There's also a new conversion chart, which you'll get at the end of today, which covers our screw part number to the equivalent push-in variant, as well as we threw in, just because of the situation, the Turck screw number, so it would go Turck screw to the Phoenix screw termination to the Phoenix push-in, so that you can easily, in one place, get all those conversations started on better technology and lock us in. And what's it look like? If we take spring or push-in termination out of the mix, we are, over 3 years, slightly growing the field wire connector portfolio. Once you add in the push-in, this is why the business unit of IFC is still positive year to date, is because of that growth just in this one connector series. So we need this growth here to grow, as well as the molded cables to grow, to deliver the result that we can. And the other commercial while crossing is that we have a mini 7/8" portfolio. Turck has a lot of breadth within their portfolio for this series, and it's in a lot of process applications as well, which we're not planning to take this product set to. because we know that it's a brand label item for us, and therefore the customization, the quick turnaround is not at the same level that our M8, M12 series is. So when this comes up, my message is to encourage to have a conversation about why our product is not so broad within mini 7/8 inch, because that's in the past. That's legacy design. If you have it spec'd and supported by them, that's great, but we're not investing our dollars in that platform because we have the M12 Power. This product series is coming out. You heard about it at C2C, and we will be able to do more power in a smaller form factor, both the connector head and cable type. So thank you, Germany, for coming out with a really innovative thing that Turck doesn't even have a solution for right now. So when the conversation comes up about, do you have this special or whatnot for mini 7/8 inch, even if it's a no, start the conversation towards M12 Power, which is shameless commercial. NPL coming up September 16th. You'll see the invite for that very soon as well. And there's a brochure very specific just to that. So in the BROtalog, we'll take a very quick live look. Look at that thing of beauty. Wow, very nice. Table of contents hyperlinked within to jump to any section very quickly. And a few other key points to just call out is that when you get in, you'll have overall application information. Think of it as the Solution Center pages for the first 6, talking about the models and how we go to market. We also then moved the quality page to a landing page, so you can click there and get the same information that took 20 pages in our first catalog digitally out on a landing page, go through the shielding technology, and then quickly get into the charts and tables for connectors. So everything is branded very easily with the side view that you saw at C2C. So unshielded side view for 22 and 18 gauge, foil and drain, 2 different styles, braided shield. Very simple to navigate. All the part numbers, for example, that are M12 shielded all in one place. Click on a part number, you go out to the website and are immediately in the product page for that item. The other main comment I wanted to say is that from our FTC group, we went the extra step, and when you get to the receptacles, yes, our standard length is 1/2 meter. Anywhere that we had a longer length, we put that in so that you can find a longer length if someone needs a 1 or 2 meter in a specific series. And then we also have product sets that are in there, such as all the power for Mini, the M12 Power, and then specialty areas like Class 1 Div 2, weld slag, the valve plugs, cable reels, accessories and glands, and then how to install it. So a really nice piece, so make sure that you go and check that out. All right, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy to talk about the Solutions Kit and the Solutions app. Come on up, Jeremy.
All right. So they say that timing is everything, and I think Nate alluded to the fact that the BROtalog, the demo kit that you got at C2C, a couple of these things are definitely sales tools that we've been working on for quite a long time. And Turck handed this opportunity right now. And lo and behold, about 4 weeks ago, you all should have received this demo kit in the mail. So you have the perfect opportunity right now to use the tools that Nate just went through and start the conversation for what is in our North American portfolio and what can you show to a customer today that's both in the BROtalog or you could easily do through Solution Center. So one thing I do want to point out about your demo kit, you do have on the back of the demo kit the sweet spot model for Solution Center. So if you're ever curious if we can take one of our existing products and do some simple value add just across some of those Turck drawings, you've got the model right here of what product, what cable types are available, and what simple value add, including overmold, colors, labeling, all of that right here on your kit. And then also in your kit on some of the cables. So 2 important things to mention. 1, you will see part numbers in that kit. They're printed right on the top of that tray that you removed to get to the samples. Those are not for sale part numbers. A customer cannot order them, distributor cannot order them. Those are our sample numbers. But it gives you an example of everything that we are capable of here in North American production. And then 2, there's a PowerPoint that we're calling the North American Solutions PowerPoint. I'm going to walk through an example right here today that is meant for you to familiarize yourself with what's in the kit. And it's going to show what value add is on each part, what materials are used on each part. It's not meant to be a customer-facing presentation, but it is meant to give you all the details that you need when you walk through the kit. So if you're in this presentation, starting on the title page, you'll see North American Cabling Solutions. As soon as you click to the next slide, it's a choose your own adventure. You can actually walk through the kit by customer industry and application, or you can walk through it by looking at the product and the value add that we do to each of the pieces. So you'll notice when you look at your kit, it is segmented into the customer applications of machine building, machine tooling, robotic welding, industrial vehicles, transportation, and hazardous areas. So let's start by going the industry route. And you'll see this is the exact same layout that you see in your kit. So it is meant to walk you through each of those sections so that you can see what pieces are inside the kit and how they apply to each industry. I would say the majority of what is in our new North American BROtalog in terms of part numbers is probably represented in these 2 top industries, machine building and machine tooling. So let's take a look at machine building, just to give you an example. Explains what some of the considerations are for this industry in terms of materials. The recommended jacket, so our standard North American PVC, usually fits the bill for this type of application. And then there's a link to kit items, and it's going to show you each of the pieces that's in the kit. And you'll notice when you look at the kit, each part is labeled with a number and a color code so that you know which tray it goes back to in the kit. It has a description, and you'll see it'll tell you what is special about each part, what coupling nut material is used, what cable type is used, what value add service is provided, and what makes it specific to this industry. So in this case, the fact that we're using our 105°C yellow PVC cable, it's PLTC rated, it has the UL AWM style. The nice thing about this presentation is you can actually then drill down into each part number and see what it's made of. So if we click on number 1, it's going to show you a picture of what should be the number 1 cable in your kit under machine building, and that's our standard yellow PVC for North America. If you click on coupling nut, it's going to tell you that is a SpeedCon coupling nut that is shown on the sample in the kit. It's going to tell you that the cable type is PVC. What makes that application specific? Again, it's that 105°C rating, PLTC rated. And then most of the items in the kit do have a value add, so something that you would typically see through a Solution Center sweet spot request. So if you click on value add services, it will tell you what is specifically value add on that kit that takes it out of a catalog part number and makes it more of a custom solution. So wraparound label for marking and the wire marker that indicates that's the number 1 cable in that kit. Black overmold is standard for our North American product line, but you'll notice that overmolds is also linked here. So if I want to see what my options are for overmolds, it will take you to this page for molding, and you can see green, black, gray, yellow, red are available. So say you want to see something in the kit that shows a green overmold, you click on green and it's going to tell you which part number is in the kit. And you can do the same thing over and over. You can drill down to that part number in the kit and see what is specific. So you'll notice that by switching to that green overmold color, we move to the machine tooling section of the kit. You'll see that the coupling nut material on that sample is plastic. You'll see that it's a PUR cable, which is more suited to the machine tooling industry where there might be fluids and more abrasion resistance required. You'll see what makes it application specific, and you'll see what value add, green overmold and the wire marker. In the upper left-hand corner, you always have a link here that allows you to return to the home, and you can start all over. So if you want to go the route of just seeing what value add is possible and what we have in the kit, you can click on this product offering, and it will take you to the link of value add services. So let's go, for example, to coupling nuts. It will show you what our options are in terms of value add to our existing product line. So we have the standard zinc die cast that's on all of our North American product. And then we also have the option of plastic, stainless steel, or weld spark resistant. And if you click on any one of these, it will take you to the list of parts in the kit that represent that. So I clicked on stainless steel coupling nut. You'll see that the number 3 cable in the ag section has a stainless steel coupling nut. So you can pull that out of the kit, show that to a customer if that's what they're looking for. You have a sample right there at your fingertips. And you can go through the same process and walk through every item in the kit. So just to mention the kit one more time, you actually have the same information that's in that PowerPoint. And it's printed right here on the 2 inserts with magnets that keep all of the product samples in the kit. So you'll see the description, the cable type, the coupling nut, everything that makes that part specific. And obviously, you have your samples inside the kit that you can show to a customer as an example of here's what we have in our standard North American catalog. Here's what we can do as value add. And you can continue the conversation based off of that. One other thing I do want to mention, and I think Nate's going to wrap up and talk about some of the things that you will be receiving shortly. But we did talk about foil and drain, and we actually left a spot for the foil and drain cables in this kit. So you will be receiving a sample of the foil and drain cable shortly that you can add to this kit, along with a couple other things that will help you steer that conversation towards North American solutions.
Awesome, Jeremy. Thank you. We'll try and wrap up quickly before we go into bonus time. So I do have to say that's probably one of the best kits we've ever put out as a marketing group. Hopefully you are confident showing and using it, and that this PowerPoint gives you the training to be able to understand what's in the kit and how to position it. So just to recap, we are talking about the conversion plan. Start with the Turck number. Run it into the conversion guide, which is your piece. Printed, well, you'll get it in PDF, you can print it. And we'll also include it in something we'll be sending you. Find out what series, go into the BROtalog, pass that across the table to the customer, let them pick a standard product or length that's equivalent, confirm it with the product details on our website, and the Turck drawing in comparison. Other note from tech service, there is a huge opportunity to win in this climate. But we will not win if we are simply sales opportunity identification in field sales in this next 10 weeks. If all we do is find that there's a Turck opportunity, get a list of items, and send it into tech service and wait for it to come back, someone else is going to service the customer better than that and position themselves to win the critical sale. So that's why we said start with the heartburn items, the pain points, the high runners. Do those the best you can while you're still at the customer, or send tech service a shorter list or a priority before you send in a list of 365 items of every product that they've ever bought, with most quantities other than 3 on this list being less than 100. So that is exactly what happened with this sales rep, that they first looked at the high runners. We got them go ahead and started the conversion on a small set, and then based off that, got the full list. So that's the strategy, is to show value, start shipping, and then get the full list. The other thing is try to find out what specials need to be addressed versus later. So anything you find out, communicate the information to tech service. The application requirements, the questions you ask, what substitutes are allowable, if they want just our standard length or if they want exact lengths. Find some of those details out before it comes into tech service so that they can give you the best quick turnaround item that'll meet the need with that guidance. And then also confirm, is this an all or a nothing? Because if they don't even want to look at us unless we can do absolutely everything, then we need to know that up front. But I don't think that many customers are in a scenario, unlike if there was no issues, where you need to do everything. Otherwise, there's no reason to look outside of our current manufacturer. And our production team wasn't here. I didn't get a chance to hit this slide to thank them publicly, but service is the linchpin in this thing. We have production staff on site that are able to react and build right here on this plant, connected to our logistics. So as soon as the team gets the order, starts building, and gets it to the warehouse, it goes out. And that is a huge, huge advantage to have U.S. manufacturing for this product series. We can also, in some cases, improve lead time. So I'm the gatekeeper for that. If there's a urgent, we will win if this, give that information up front, and we'll see what we can do. But the expectation is that 7 days to build or from stock is the goal. And the last note is, if getting a PO for an urgent CMAT number, make sure if they only want a partial that you send it in with the 2 different lines with whatever the partial quantity is and the balance. Once it hits the floor, there's no way to split and speed up just a portion of a CMAT order. The last thing is price. We don't, in this market, need to walk through the quote process likely up front to get the very first sale. So when I talk about the North American being fair market price and why we don't put a lot of quotes across them, you can see from one of our distributors, in this case Allied Electronics site, Turck's 4-pin cable, they don't sell it all the time at $35, but we sell it starting at $14.57. So when a distributor buys that in and resales somewhere around $13, $12, that's a good, fair market price as we get the conversation, the product rolling, to then talk about the absolute meet comp target price and work through our quotation process. So absolutely, if you get an exact price, if we hit it, then this business will go. Give that information. We can do it from the front. But if you need to get something out the door tomorrow that you see in stock, don't necessarily walk this through the quote game because we have fair pricing already. And the last thing we didn't even talk about, it's in the corner the whole time, limited life warranty. So the lifetime warranty is an area that we can definitely promote as an advantage and a confidence builder for them doing a business with us long term. That's, yes, it is included if you click on the link at the bottom of the page from /LLW, you see some terms and conditions, covered products, sensor, actuator, cables. And then the other question I get a lot is, well, what if they put a PVC cable in a robotics application and they're burning up cables every week? Are we just going to keep shipping them PVC cables? No. We're going to help the customer find the right product for their area, and they're going to install it according to our terms and conditions, which is based off of our recommendations. That's not the right button. All right, so winning the war, that was step 2. Using the demo case, and also, I think if our engineering team, which is here, would love to stand up and turn around and wave at that camera on the ceiling. Go ahead, RBU staff. Nobody's standing up. Come on. This is your moment. You have a team dedicated right here in Harrisburg to handle the solution side, both in the short term and the long term, to lock in the full bill of material and account with both engineering, laboratory, and production. So, what's your homework? It's back to school time. You all have homework going into the weekend. Bummer. So, you're going to go over to the extranet. You're going to scroll down. You're going to see the link to the supportal. You're going to click the link to the supportal. You're going to see that there's something new out there. What's new in the supportal? There's a media kit for everything that we just talked about. So you're going to click that, and you're going to see a download. And once you click download available, you will get the new BROtalog. You'll get the Turck nomenclature guide. You'll get the app that goes over the demo case that Jeremy showed. You'll have a quick hit CORDSETS sample list, which will be sending you samples. You'll have a high runner stock list. So it's the, we'll say, 100 some items that we should always have in stock and relative level of the builds that we do on those. You get that screw to PT conversion guide and also some promotional sharing text. So we'll build that out for distribution. But if you want to start putting some tweets out to your network, if you want to send out a email to a couple customers. There's some approved text already in a Word document that you can highlight the service and breadth that Phoenix Contact has. So, Supportal, what's new? Go download your kit, everybody, as soon as this is over. The other thing you can do is go to your Launchpad, so the Business Intelligence Webby Launchpad. You'll see something new as of yesterday, which is Turck Sales Ops. This is only as good as the information that you've put in. But if you click that button, based off of who you are in the system, it will give you a list based off of any opportunity, won, open, lost, or any quote that has ever had Turck attached to it. So it'll immediately give you an account list to start focus on and maybe think of some new places if you aren't already getting calls. And then we have a gift for you. It wasn't just an hour and 5 minutes without being able to walk around. So we're sending you that conversion guide on top of a box of one cable, which is the foil and drain cable that will then go in your kit. So everybody will get that product line that's being flashed next Friday. Another short sales only sample. You put that in the section, which already has the part number printed on, and drop that in. But there's more in the box. You get 20 cables. So 5 cables each of what are some of our top selling and what we have crossed as Turck's top selling items. So you have an M12 sensor cable, a foil and drain, an M8 sensor cable, and an Ethernet cord. These 4 items, quantity 5 each, will be showing up in 1 to 2 weeks. We'll ship them out next week. And these are something to put at least one of each in your backpack. And then as you go and you ask the question, hey, do you guys do connectivity? Do you have any issues with your suppliers? Do you use Turck? Then this is something that, oh, you are having issues with Turck. Something like this, along with your BROtalog, can help you get that conversation right into, yeah, that's what I need, something like that, versus we do the cross and then the first time they see a sample is 3 days from now. So that's it. This is our Need You Now moment that really can change the entire forecast for the year. So if right now, with the softening in July and August, we are looking to be somewhat flat as an organization at the end of the year, I said that there's a realistic, if everybody does 100 grand, 8.5 million before the end of the year up for grabs. That's it. That gets us right back close to plan. So this is the area to focus on in the next quarter. Any questions? Your marketing team, your engineering, your production, your tech service, your customer service teams are all here ready to take advantage. We have the best sales team in the industry, and I know that you're going to take advantage. Thanks for tuning in.